So for my entire life, I've been told to lock in. Like, obviously, my mom wasn't walking up to me and smushing her finger on my forehead and telling me like, yo, Tate, lock in. But more so like back then, locking in was doing my chores, making my bed, eating my animal crackers correctly, and getting good grades. And then later in life, it was my teammates yelling at me for missing a layup. Or even worse is when my coach, I mean, I shouldn't even say coach, when my coaches would humiliate me for a mistake that I didn't even make. And then I would have to run the 17s of shame. If you hooped at any stage in life, you know just how shameful and gross that feeling was. I mean, those coaches would try to come up with the most devious torturing methods just so you could have a little bit worse of a day, or at least that's what it felt like. But I feel like even then, real life locking in mogs to oblivion. And I know, like, okay, maybe that's pretty obvious, like real life is definitely going to be more stressful than a sport. But still, sometimes my dad will walk up to my brother and I and ask us what our money-making opportunities are for the day, or what money-making endeavors are you embarking on, son? He doesn't sound like that, but I have to tell him that I'm trying to build a social media presence and he just kind of has to trust the process. I mean, I'm the same dude that graduated as valedictorian. I took all AP classes, bro, just to not go to college and just be at home at 20 years old trying to make something shake. But then again, what's the alternative? I could have gone to college, been like tens of thousands of dollars in debt, using AI in all my classes just to get by and not even get a job at McDonald's. It's like, unless you want to be a lawyer or a doctor at this point in life, it doesn't seem like college is even an option. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. I guess the point I'm trying to make is quote unquote locking in seems to be nearly impossible these days. I mean, overall, everything, job market, money, just life in general seems 100% cooked when you look through a social media, online, internet lens. It's actually gotten to the point for me when I hear someone tell me to lock in, or someone says that they're gonna go on a crazy winter arc, I just kind of have to stare at them and be like, bro, are you serious? Locking in doesn't mean sitting down and having concentrated focus on a task anymore. It's just kind of become a meme now. And I think that's actually a big reason why we can't lock in, especially my generation. We can't take anything serious. If you go on any social media platform, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, people will literally die in real life. Like there is no tomorrow for them. And we'll find a way to make a joke out of it, no matter who it is. We've been conditioned to be numb to literally everything. And I think the worst part is I find myself falling victim to this too. Like for example, when you open a funny ass TikTok comment section, I could bet my left pinky toe and you could scalp both of my weenuses. I know there's going to be at least one Charlie Kirk AI photo in there. It's like, bro, what are we doing? And the worst part is I'll laugh sometimes and I just have to look at myself and be real, like, is this really what life is right now? Back then, our parents used to go outside, touch some real grass, and hold real life conversations amongst their peers that had real value. Nowadays, we just have people inside a black room with the blackout shades, and they're tugging their turkey to their AI girlfriend named Melissa. What I'm trying to get at is that there are so many distractions in this world, it's nearly impossible for you to focus on anything. I mean, in the first place, our dopamine receptors are fried to the max. And I'm not speaking as someone who is dopamine free. I mean, I still doom scroll quite often. I'm trying to limit it, but it's very hard to focus now. And so I think the first step is just to start taking ourselves more serious. I think we don't realize how often we're not even living our own lives, but living the lives of another person, a celebrity, an influencer, just whoever else, vicariously through our phones. It's like, how am I supposed to identify any of these issues if I myself don't even know who I am in the first place? Damn, that was kind of deep. I low-key just surprised myself. I did not have that written down. But it's true. I think if you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to identify why you can't lock in. And that's probably part of the reason why I haven't started to quote unquote, once again, lock in until recently. For my entire life, I've been kind of trying to find my sense of purpose and identity, sense of self, all of that. And for the longest time, it was basketball, which clearly isn't the case anymore. But I think in recent times, like the past couple of weeks, I've really started to hone in and get back on track onto my purpose and who I actually am, which is kind of exciting to say. But that doesn't mean that overnight I became this like Tibetan monk that has unshakable discipline and is never led astray. The last thing that I want to come across as is like this perfect being that's as far from the truth as you could possibly ever get. For example, this channel that you're watching this video on has been rotting for the past 3 to 4 months ever since New Year's. I had a resolution where I was going to post a video every single week, every Thursday for the whole year, and I only lasted 3 weeks before I literally stopped. That was the extent of my locking in. And I even planned this whole like comeback video that was gonna be super epic and have a great message and themes and music and lots of editing. I got halfway through editing it and I just realized that I was so bored. I didn't want to do that, and I was like forcing myself to try to be someone that I wasn't and post videos that were cool at first, but as I was making it, I'm like, dude, this isn't what I want to do. And if you think I'm joking, I'm gonna just play a quick clip from the intro. It just watch. Take a deep breath. Hell no. If that's not performative, I literally don't know what is. But I think it's a great example. When you don't know who you are, you lock in on meaningless stuff that doesn't even matter. So whether you're someone that actually knows who they are or not, hopefully I can help you at least point out these things that are potentially holding you back, because I know for sure every single one of these things has held me back for the entirety of my life. All 20 years, bro. That's 2 decades on this earth. These 3 things basically have been keeping me from being my best self. I mean, damn, that was a long intro. I'm gonna get better at shortening this type of stuff so I could get straight into it. But yeah, I do have 3 points that are holding you back from becoming your ultimate Chad self, or Chadette if you're a girl watching this. And I think the funny part is all of this kind of wraps in together, but I'm gonna just start with the first point, which is lust. You looking at women or men, depending on who you are, and it's distracting you from getting the things done that you want to get done. Now, there's a few alleys that this could go down. I mean, obviously there's the addiction side of it, where your addiction can hold you back from focusing on the task at hand. But I think on a very base level, humans are made to reproduce. We're meant to look at things we're attracted to, and we're meant to want to pursue these type of things. But with the adding of phones and social media and internet, all of this stuff becomes immediately accessible in ungodly amounts. I mean, AI itself is able to generate basically whatever you want nowadays, which is kind of scary, but it's just another distraction. I mean, when I go on my YouTube For You page, that's not a thing. If I go on my YouTube homepage or my TikTok For You page, or even Instagram, most of the advice that creators and everyone else is trying to give out is like dating advice. And I mean, I'm not even going to mention the looks maxing side of the community, because that in itself is like lust personified. Everyone's just trying to look appealing to the opposite sex. And it's like, at what point are you not chasing betterment for yourself, but other people? And that locked inness, for lack of better words, isn't even targeted towards yourself really. It's to appease other people and not yourself. And so I think you want to do things to gratify yourself and feel better about yourself, instead of doing it for external reasons. It's all about the internal. But it's not like I'm saying that going out and trying to date a girl or a boy or whoever and get to know someone is a bad thing. I'm just saying putting that first before yourself is bad. And maybe I'm not the best person to be the representative of like dating culture, because all I do is sit inside all day. I'm like the opposite example. I really got to get out more. I think isolation is actually another big reason why you can't get your life together, but I'm not going to list that in this video because it could be its own video in its own right. The point I'm trying to make, and I mean, since I'm a guy, I could only speak for myself, but if a girl walks in and she's just looking delectable and mighty fine, it's actually incredibly hard to lock in. Maybe you have that gust of motivation where like you fantasize and daydream about her being your wife one day, and you have like a whole 3-minute montage in your head where you really finally start to lock in. But the truth is that motivation wears off the moment you are on to the next thing and nothing actually gets done. Now, obviously lust and attraction are 2 separate things. I'm talking specifically about when you try to pursue something with a lustful intention. What I like to say is love and attraction are kind of not synonymous, but they could be interchangeable at times. And love is patient. You know you're being lustful when you're like, you got that, you know, that hungry, like, like you're aggressive and you're not patient at all. I'm talking about that type of stuff where you just have tunnel vision and you're not able to see in front of you. That's when you lose focus. That's when lust becomes a distraction, which, I mean, it's always a distraction. Just remember, y'all, love is patient and kind and all these beautiful things. Not aggressive. All right, so now on to the second point, and this one is kind of obvious and there's actually a lot of factors that go into it. Stay for the third point though, because I actually came up with this idea and term myself just literally a couple nights ago while I was staring at the ceiling. I would even like to coin it, but I don't know, it's probably already a thing, but I'm gonna take full ownership of it while I still can. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, but by the end of this video, I'll try and give you some solutions. I'm not just giving you points and then leaving you out to dry, I promise. All right, now for the second point, you all knew it was coming. It really is that damn phone. You hear that so often, but it's literally the most true thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, out of the three main points, I would say this one definitely has me in a chokehold, full Nelson. I'm tapping it. I'm tapping out on the mat with this one. I'll just say that. You don't realize how much you're using social media, your phone, until you really step back and make a conscious decision to realize and take notice. You know, from the moment I wake up, it's scroll, check my text messages, and then check my Instagram DMs to see if future Mrs. Life is trying to come into my life, if you know what I'm saying. But bro, oh my god. Anyways, I don't think you realize the effects that just waking up and scrolling into doom has on your body, your dopamine receptors. Like, all that blue light first thing in the morning is ridiculous. I mean, at least I didn't realize and I didn't take notice of all this. And so I think that's why it's important to just be conscious of everything that's happening around you and within yourself. And I'm not going to speak like I am not on my phone all the time. I mean, dude, I grew up with a phone in my hand pretty much. And I'll tell you, it was literally today, like as I'm recording this, that I decided to try and make a change in this direction. So it's not like this is something I've been doing for a while. I'm on this journey with you guys. But what I did this morning is, or actually it started last night. Last night, I put my phone at the foot of my bed. So 30 to 45 minutes before I went to bed, I read a book, is what you're supposed to do, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I just read a manga, the 21st Century Boys. I gotta level up to that, but I read a book and I slept beautifully. And then waking up, I literally didn't look at my phone for the first pretty much hour, and I felt like I was Vegeta coming out of the cryo chamber. Like, no, seriously, I felt like my third eye was opened or something. And so with these differences, I gotta strongly encourage you guys to try it and just see how your day differs in terms of you being able to lock in. It's literally like night and day. It's a magic spell. But I'd just like to add, while the phone is a major culprit, I'm not gonna disinclude all other technology, because at the end of the day, it's what's on your phone and not the phone itself. So rather than this category just being a phone, it's more like phone / internet / online / social media / Netflix / Crunchyroll / yeah, like, you get what I'm saying? It's all that stuff, and maybe even video games, although I have a whole different take on that. You know, it's different for every person, but for me, phone represents social media and streaming services. Like, recently, anime, and definitely lately, K-drama has had me in this perpetual infinite cycle of doom where I blink and my entire day has just gone by with nothing productive done. And so while I doubt a lot of you watch anime and K-drama, I mean, if you do, let me know in the comments below, because I need friends who watch this type of stuff. But the thing that I do know is true is that it's not even my generation now that's hooked on social media. It's damn near every single human on this planet. Go ahead, I'm gonna put this graph on the screen and just look at this. I mean, dude, 5.5 billion, and you gotta keep in mind, that was last year. So now it's more like 5.7 billion. There's only 8.3 billion people on this beautiful earth that we call home. That is 69, funny number, right? 0.9, so almost 70% of our world now uses social media. If you take a second to just think about that, I think we can all agree that phones were kind of the gateway into social media. It's what created social media as we know it. The first iPhone wasn't even released until 2007. I'm older than when the first phone was released. It's only been 19 years, less than 2 decades since the first phone has been released into the markets, at least the first smartphone. And when you look at the world today, how can you not feel a sense of urgency, bro? I'm not gonna lie, when you really deep dive into this type of stuff, it might make you realize that life is, you gotta take control of your life now, because if you don't, it's gonna get really scary in the future. I mean, we have VR coming. If you've seen anime, if you love anime, you know what happens in Sword Art Online. It's gonna be a whole lot of Sword Art Online chuds walking around, living their life inside their VR $3,000 headset, where they have their whole harem and everything they could possibly want at the tips of their fingertips with no work put in, instant gratification of doom. It's, oh my god, I'm rambling. But I mean, seriously, I know we've all at least seen Wall-E. We're gonna be looking just like those people who was on that spaceship doing nothing productive with our lives and just living mind-numbing existences, bro. Like, is that what we really want? Okay, getting back on track. I think phones and lust are two of the main things that are holding you back from getting what you want out of your life. Or at the very least, that's what my experience has been, and I'm sure I'm not like some unique miracle circumstance and example. I'm sure there's a lot of you who are watching right now and relating to me. But there's one more reason why I think a lot of people aren't as locked in as they want to be, need to be, or should be. And this one I actually haven't heard of before. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure people have talked about this before, but I thought of this on my own and I caught myself doing this. That's how I was able to even realize this in the first place, because I was consciously deciding to take note of my actions throughout the day. And I was like, wow, this is eye-opening. And so the third point is the fake productivity effect. And I know the name is kind of self-explanatory. Maybe I should get back in the lab and try to cook up something at least halfway decent, but I think the name serves its purpose perfectly. And just in case some of you are still confused, because I bet there's a lot of you that just scrunched your nose and like gave me the most disgusting look at your screen. By the way, save that for yourself, bro. The fake productivity effect literally just refers to when you think you're doing something productive with your life, but in reality, you're just wasting time. Now, I need you to stick with me here because this is probably a lot more common than people realize. At least for me, it was super common. I'm someone that's very much into podcasts. Like, I love listening to a good quote unquote informational podcast, whatever podcast that is. I'm not gonna give any name drops or shout outs or anything. But anyways, the fact is I'm someone that loves listening to informational podcasts. And so there was a lot of times where I would play a podcast in the background of me playing a video game, for example, and I would tell myself, hey bro, I am learning right now, so this is productive time. But in reality, the entire day I just rotted away, not listening really to a single word that was being said. There was no focused intent on any of the informational value, but rather I was just gaming and using a podcast as a scapegoat for productivity. And the fact is, there's probably a lot of you right now that are doing this very thing. I know I love to listen to these type of videos while I'm like playing Genshin Impact or something. And so as much as I'm telling you not to do this type of thing, you're almost done with this video. So just stick with me a little bit longer, y'all. I love you. Mwah. But just like that, you're gonna low-key hate me again because I'm gonna give you one more example of fake productivity. This one hurts my soul because I did this all the time. So, okay, just listen to me, y'all. I know a lot of you watching probably go to the gym because that's like the culture nowadays, is to go to the gym, which is a great thing. I think that's one of the best things that have come out of social media and these trends. But I'm gonna just say it, if you went to the gym once or twice or even 3 times a day, the same thing goes with running, and that's all you did that day, you did not have a productive day. The only argument I could kind of make is for bodybuilders, but even then, like, working out isn't the only thing you should be doing in your life. There's so much more to life than just building muscle and getting lean. And trust me, I love the gym. I'm an athlete at heart, through and through. And with that athlete fitness guru mindset, I would go to the gym, finish the gym, do nothing the rest of the day, and still have this false sense of satisfaction that I really went and conquered the day, like I'm Genghis Khan of the modern day by just lifting some barbells. The point of the matter is, you could think you've been locked in for your whole life, the past week, the past couple of months, but If you look closer and deeper, were you really as productive and locked in as you thought you were? And I know I said lust and the phone were the two biggest contributors to not being able to focus on your life, but this one is a low-key sleeper. Like, there's probably a lot of people out there that think they're being productive, but they're just basically slaving away doing the same thing every day without putting any focused attention into their life. And that was me for the longest. It still low-key is, and I'm trying to get out of that funk. So there you have it. Those are the three main things, at least in my experience, that have caused me to just not be able to lock in, that has caused my generation to not be able to lock in. But still, I have to provide some sort of solutions because I pointed them out, but now it's solution time, because I know y'all would be pissed if you watched this entire video, had all these points, and I just didn't offer any advice at the end. But real quick, I just want to reiterate, I'm a 20-year-old kid with my whole life left to live. All of this is my own experience and opinions, though I will say that without a doubt in my mind, as far as I'm concerned, this is all fact. I mean, if we honed in on these points as a society, generation, civilization, whatever you want to call it, the world would be much better off. And so I'm gonna give you two solutions that I personally came up with. I want to just first say that nothing in this life comes easy, and ultimately everything is up to you. You are, I mean, it's kind of corny to say, but the main character of your own life, and your decisions are going to influence how your life turns out. Whether you end up in a ditch somewhere or in a mansion in Hollywood Hills is up to you, bro. The advice I'm going to give you is broad enough to where it could be applied to all 3 points separately. I'm not going to go through each point and point out what method works for each. That would take a whole nother 30 minutes, and this video is already long enough. The first solution for this is to limit all of this stuff, but even then, I want to put an asterisk by that, because typically when you limit something, you end up doing it for just a little bit and just taking the limiter off right after you get bored. There's been a couple times where I've downloaded those screen time apps and I literally last 5 days before I delete it. Of course, this is just my case. It could be different for you, and just limiting will be able to give you the desired outcomes you want. But for me, I feel that I need to do something a little bit more extreme in order to be able to lock in like I want to. So instead of limiting, I would say replacing is the better option here. Our brains are constantly searching for that dopamine and serotonin boost. I mean, we've trained it with phones. And so I think, especially if you're in the deep, like you're super addicted, it's best to start off by feeding your brain something else in place of, for example, the phone, or your favorite show, or your lust. I gave you one such example earlier in this video when I replaced my phone with a book. That's just one of the many examples. Another great example is just going on a walk. Let's say, and they say this a lot for the lustful thoughts, for men or women, if you're getting those feelings, it's good for you to just get some fresh air and let your mind race over other things. Notice the nature, the sun. I mean, where I live, it's 106 degrees outside, so it's hard exactly to go on a walk right now, but I'm someone that reads the Bible, and the Bible even says to flee from lust. I feel like walking, I mean, you in public, you're not going to do nothing in public because you're not a creep, right? So it's a great method to replace. So if you really find some time to search within yourself and actually focus, like put attentive focus for the first time in your life towards fixing this. Okay, my bad. That was kind of rude, but shoot, that's how it was for me. You're going to see a change. But in the off chance that you don't see a change, even by replacing the things that are harming you, these points, I got a final trump card. And you could see this as like a meme and cheese, but it's a true method, and I actually use it, and I 100% believe that it works, bro. So I call it the for her method. And if you're a woman or a girl or a lady or a chadette, you could tailor it to your own needs or whatever. The for him method, I use this a lot, especially when it comes to lust. But essentially what I do is I think of myself in the future. Obviously the goal is to have a baddie wife. She's going to be mine, and we're going to be locked in for eternity. And I don't want to be a fat, lazy chud and married to the most gorgeous woman of my life. You know what I mean? And I also play a little game in my head as well. Like, the more locked in I am, and the more beautiful, sexy, and on my stuff that I am, the more my wife is going to be the same. So, for example, if I come out built like Rudy's Grey Rat before he got reincarnated, my wife is going to be like a female version of that, and I don't want that. And so it kind of deters me from doing these things that I know I shouldn't be doing in the first place. So once again, if the replace method doesn't work, you gotta do the for her method, bro. Trust me, it's gonna get you locked in. It's like the ultimate ult method. It's the ult method. And I know I make this method sound super funny, but really all it is, it's a mindset that I want to be the best version of myself I could be for my wife, because I know she deserves someone like that. And maybe this method only works with me. I know everyone nowadays is just not trying to marry anymore, which I just don't get. But for me, it's surprisingly really motivating. So if you're someone who's like-minded like me, give it a shot. You'll actually surprise yourself with how hard you work. And so that's it. And believe it or not, I really don't talk that often. So this is my first video like this, and I kind of just wanted to try something new and speak my thoughts. I also recently, I mean, as you could tell from the video, have really been trying to be more intentional with my life. And so one of the top things people say you could do to be intentional with your life is journal. And I'm not gonna lie, I am not putting pen to paper right now. Just like how I'm not gonna fully read a book right now. I'm only reading mangas before bed, strictly. But I'm working my way up to that. And so I think this channel is a way for me to also kind of speak my thoughts and act as a journal of sorts, because I'm someone that very much throughout my entire life, I haven't really spoken up about things or let people know how I feel. And so I'm hoping there's a lot of like-minded people out there that could come to this place and not only find security, but maybe learn something and just engage in discussion. I really yearn for that community. So once again, everything is my own opinion, and I encourage you to actually try and bring me your perspective, because I'm open to all sorts of ways of life and thought. So I don't think I have anything else for now. This video is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I appreciate you guys for sticking through with me and watching this whole thing. If you've made it this far, please like the video and please subscribe too. I mean, this is my 4th video on this channel. I mean, the first one really. And if you're here, that means you're the early crew. That means you get to basically be an OG before I blow up, because I'm gonna be consistent, unlike how I was at the start of this new year. I'm really gonna be locked in, and these videos are gonna come every single week. Now, I'm not gonna make the same mistake and tie it to a specific day. Like every Thursday, I'm gonna post a video. It's gonna be 52 videos by the end of this year. I'm just gonna say every week, but I will try to post somewhere in the middle of the week. And just in case I didn't say it enough, thank you for watching. I love you. Jesus loves you. See ya.